Become fluent in the language of your mental wellness. My name is Leesa Renée Hall, and I help highly sensitive people and deep feelers explore their unconscious biases so that they stand on the side of justice and become better ancestors, all while protecting their energy. So, mental wellness is just as important to our stability and happiness as is our physical wellness. Now, let me just say that I am not a therapist, nor do I play one online, but there is such a deep correlation between the work of unpacking your unconscious biases and maintaining and protecting your mental wellness. And so when we think of someone becoming mentally unwell, we often think about, the extreme expression of decline. And so, for example, there's an episode of Frasier, one of my favorite sitcoms, but there's an episode of Frasier where Niles is going through a pretty acrimonious, that's not the word, an intense divorce proceedings with his soon-to-be ex-wife Maris. And so he goes to Cafe Nervosa, which is the cafe that he and his brother hangs out in, and he orders his coffee. When he gets it, he asks the barista, "May I have a straw or a coffee stir stick?" And she said, "That's the last one." And then all of a sudden Niles repeats, "That's the last straw." The next thing is, though, Roz comes in. I'm not sure, but it was focused on her for a little bit. And then when the camera pans back to Niles, he's sitting by the window, reading a newspaper, completely naked underneath. And that's when Roz calls Frasier, and he comes down to the cafe to help his brother out. And so we may think that when our mental wellness is taking a decline, that it's going to be some spectacular event, that we're going to go running down the street naked, screaming at the top of our lungs, or that it's going to be some spectacularly violent event. Oftentimes people who see and witness or hear about shootings and with mass casualties, the first thing that comes out of people's mouth is, mental illness. So we have conditioned ourselves to look for the big spectacular event to finally declare that someone is not mentally well. But that's just it. That's not mental illness. Not at all. Because the person you're sitting next to, the person you live with, the person who smiles the most, the person who has the biggest grin on their face, the person that walks around with nothing but positivity all the time, those are often the very people that are hiding elements of mental unwellness. It brings to mind the comedian Robin Williams. He made the world laugh through the many characters he played on TV and in movies. And so many were shocked when news came out that he passed away and that the cause of death was suicide. And his wife started to reveal some interesting tidbits about Robin Williams and his last few days on earth. Another person that comes to mind is Tony Hsieh, the former CEO of Zappos, who in December of 2020 passed away. He was my age, 46 years old. And many of his friends had reported that in the last year of his life, he was doing some really strange and bizarre things that caused them deep concern about his mental fitness. And so when it comes to fluency in your mental wellness, It's important to recognize the small clues so that you can tend to that before it accumulates and becomes something big. Protecting your mental wellness isn't about citing affirmations or forcing yourself to think positive. Oftentimes, by doing so, that only exasperates your feelings of hopelessness and sadness and some of the other things that comes along. For me, one of the things that tells me that I need to improve my mental wellness is when I start getting irritated at little things. The other day I was shopping online looking for boots and I found one. I have size 11 feet, so it's kind of hard to find shoes. So I found one that I liked and I said, oh yes, I'm gonna get them. And when I went to go check, the size 11s were sold out. And I felt myself getting so upset that I almost threw my device across the room. And that's when I knew. And that was one incident, but then something else happened. I felt deep irritation. And that's when I knew I had to do something to protect my mental wellness. So fluency in your mental wellness simply means understanding the small things that you could be smiling, you can be happy, you can be positive, and you can still be doing all those things just to hide the deep sadness and hopelessness that you feel within. In a follow-up video, I'm going to share some tips from one of my therapist friends, and she's going to share more information on what the language of your mental wellness sounds like and what it looks like, so that you have more tips. And if anything, you can see a therapist. Talk therapy is a good idea. It is not out of reach. There are now virtual options that are very cost effective that you can rely on. I also recommend, perhaps if you're still working and you're working full time, you have benefits, check with your benefits package. Some of them do include mental wellness support, and the company won't know who went to go see the therapist. They'll just know that one of their employees did. You might want to check for any nonprofit associations in your state or city that may have funding available so that you can subsidize the cost of seeing a therapist. So that's another option as well. And again, as I said, there are virtual options available so that, especially in these times when we might not be able to go and sit in someone's office, you can then meet someone virtually and get help. Listen, there's no shame in saying that you need help. And one of the most courageous acts that you can do is to prioritize your mental wellness before it gets really bad. Stumble bravely.